Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about Bitget and the R token, which is a new way to access US stocks with USDT. And this is a very good and interesting product to have, especially if you're looking to get US stock exposure. And it launched just recently in June 2nd, 2026. And it gives eligible users a new way to access selected US stock and ETF exposure with USDT inside Bitget's crypto native trading ecosystem. Okay. So, why this is important is because you have situations where people are unable to open up a stock brokerage account and get access to US stocks in many different areas around the world. So, this kind of streamlines that process for those people, creating an intermediary layer that helps to facilitate cross border stock trade, right? And especially for those individuals in many developing areas and such who maybe don't have the right financial instruments to be able to facilitate such, right? So again, the core idea is simple: to trade US stock exposure like a market asset, but use it with crypto style flexibility. Okay. And so the Bitget R token uses the format R plus the ticker, making it easy to recognize. Okay, so some examples would be like the R NVIDIA or R Apple and so on and so forth, R Tesla and so on and so forth, right? And so how to get or how Bitget R token works in a nutshell. So it works by connecting tokenized stock exposure with Bitget's crypto trading infrastructure instead of treating US stocks as assets that only belong inside a brokerage account. So again, it brings stock linked exposure into USDT based trading environments. Okay. So it's a reality protocol acts as the issuer and infrastructural layer. Okay. So basically the R token is designed to be backed one-to-one by real shares held in custody with the broker connectivity that links the product to the US infrastructure. So what that means in layman's terms is that when you, let's say, go on the Bitget platform, which you will here shortly, to trade in R token, what will happen is that you'll have the opportunity to buy that token with USDT, and that would act as a price exposure equivalent to the actual underlying asset of US or of the actual stock itself, right? So let's say that stock is NVIDIA. So it'd be our NVIDIA. So in a sense, it would track the exact price, and they have linkages to the underlying stock itself, right? And that's basically how that works in a nutshell. And so for the underlying stock ETF provides the market exposure, right? So each R token is designed to track the economic performance of corresponding US stock or ETF. Again, for example, so we broke this down already in detail. Again, the Bitget provides the trading and utility layer, which is quite obvious here, which you would be able to conduct all the trades on the Bitget ecosystem in the Bitget platform. And also, if you wanted to get your dividends, this is something that we'll talk about a little bit later. But if you want to get your dividends, you would get them in USDT, which is something that's very unique to Bitget as opposed to other platforms where you get your dividends in that particular token, or you would get a token derivative, right? So you wouldn't get the actual USDT, which would be equivalent to actual US dollars. So that's something new and very, very different than what we're used to. So you can see here on the reality here, it shows all the different reality Ondo and X stocks. It shows the differences and nuances between these, right? So you see with the R NVIDIA, then you see the on NVIDIA, and then you see the X NVIDIA, right? And you see the partner platforms that they have is very different. It varies depending on which one. What you can see with Bitget, you get direct from NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange via licensed brokers plus on-chain sources, right? And that's the same with Ondo, but with X stocks, you do not, right? And the dividends, again, are paid and distributed in stable coins, which is, again, a crypto dollar equivalent of the fiat existing dollar backed by US Treasury bonds, right? So, and then you also see here that you get on Ondo just dividends rebased into tokens, right? And again, here in X stocks, dividends rebased into tokens, which really separates Bitget in this sense in terms of being able to give people their dividends in USDT. It's a game changer. And you see price mirroring, they have token price always mirrors the underlying share one to one, always, right? Whereas with Ondo, you see total return tracker model, you see the price may deviate as dividends payout, right? And then you see with XStocks, the total return tracker model, the price may again deviate as dividends pay out. Okay. And do you see the auditing and verification? So this one in Ondo is self-reported, which is very sketchy. You see they have an independent third party for Bitget, which reserves at and attestations by a licensed CPA firm. Okay, and then you have real-time and deferred settlement models, right? So yeah, very, very interesting stuff for you guys. And as you scroll down here, you can look a little bit at, again, some of the features. Again, with basic tokenized stock products, you have the issue of often limited to market-like sessions, whereas Bitget is 24/7 trading, and with selected popular R tokens supporting 24/7 trading. And you see here that it's designed with one-to-one backing by real shares held in custody. Okay. And yeah, so let's just scroll down here. You can see some of the key benefits of the Bitget rToken. As you can see, like I said, it says it gives you eligible users a way to access selected US stocks and ETFs with USDT. Again, you can purchase the stocks with USDT to be able to acquire the price tracking equivalent or the derivative of the underlying stock asset. Okay. And that's basically how that works in a nutshell. And you could see another benefit too as well is that you get up to, again, the 500 plus US stocks and ETFs. You get one-to-one backing by real shares. You get 24/7 trading support. You also get eligible dividends paid again in USDT, which I've stated already previously. And it's obviously automatic corporate action handled as well. If that's if the corporation does stock splits or reverse splits and things of this nature, if you also get better capital efficiency. And yeah, so it says is Bitget rToken a DeFi stablecoin? It is not a DeFi stablecoin. So a stablecoin is a crypto equivalent that's backed one-to-one with the US dollar in real life, whereas the Bitget rTokens are intermediary derivatives that track the underlying asset of a stock. Okay, so that's the fundamental difference. So it's completely different to a stable coin. And then you also have, again, the Bitget rToken versus the BGB, right? The key difference is that the Bitget rToken is a tokenized stock exposure product, while the BGB or Bitget token is Bitget's ecosystem token. Okay, so it's not linked to a US stock or ETFs. Instead, BGB is used to or for Bitget ecosystem utility, right? Such as platform benefits, campaign participation, and other supported use cases within Bitget. Okay, and as you keep scrolling down, you can see all the different differences between BGB and rToken. We won't get so much into that, but just so you guys can check this out, we'll leave links down below for you guys to look at this and get access to all of that. But you can see some of the differences here, like you see USDT for supported rToken pairs, whereas this depends on supported BGB markets. And some examples of the rToken are Tesla, are QQQ, are NVIDIA, and BGB is just BGB because it's a utility token for the Bitget ecosystem. Okay, and again, this one is linked to stocks and ETFs, and then BGB is not. So yeah, you can see some of those differences there. Now it's asking me what is the difference between Bitget rToken and Bitget Stock Plus. So Bitget Stock Plus are both designed to help users access US stock opportunities through, again, the Bitget, right? But they are built for different types of users. The easiest way to understand the difference is the Bitget Stock Plus is closer to a traditional stock trading experience, while Bitget rToken is closer to a crypto native stock exposure tool. Okay, so those are differences and nuances between them. Is one is actually for stock trading, and the other one is sort of like a derivative to track stock price exposure, if that makes sense. So that's the differences and nuances between them, and it talks about it here. If you scroll down here, you can see main positioning, crypto native US stock exposure, where this is direct US stock trading. Again, so one is the actual trading platform, which we need the KYC for, and not every region is able to get access to direct US stock trading. Whereas you see the crypto native US stock exposure gives you that capability for anyone to be able to get access to. And those are some of the key differences. We won't get so much into that. We'll scroll down here, and it's telling you now how to get started trading with Bitget rToken. So you first need to open up a Bitget account, and we'll leave a link down below for that too as well, for you guys to be able to get access to Bitget. And yeah, you just follow these steps here on the picture. It's very, very self-explanatory. You go through KYC process, you get your official document verification, and then you, once all these steps are done, the legal documents, complete facial recognition, then they review it. And once those steps is done, then you can go ahead and add funds. And once you add funds, you can go ahead and participate in some of the products that they have available for you. And you could see some of the different steps and things that you can do. So it says here what users should know before trading Bitget rToken. So for those who need to know any of the nuances of things you need to know before you go ahead and start trading, you can look at all of that. And yeah, we'll move on now. Okay, so as you guys can see, we're now on the R NVIDIA to USDT trading pair, and we want to allocate, let's say, 29 USDT to buy our NVIDIA. And you can see before we go ahead and buy, you can see the price is at around 210. So when you go ahead and Google, you can see that's very close to tracking the actual trading price. So it's slightly off, but still a decent entry point. And so when we click this and we click buy our NVIDIA, we can go ahead, you can see this screen pops up to order confirmation, and then you can go ahead and then hit the market buy, and then boom, bada bing, bada boom. You now have your asset in our NVIDIA, right? So if you go to your assets here, you can see the exact amount of our NVIDIA that you have. Yeah. So you could see the trade was executed. You could see the exact amount you have. And that was a very, very smooth process, guys. I think it's much better than anything that I've experienced in a lot of exchanges. You know, sometimes you have issues. You got to do a two-factor authentication to execute a trade and such. So this is just very, very smooth process. Once you've gone through the KYC process, it's obviously it's you that's conducting the trades. And I really like how smooth and efficient it is. So I do hope that you guys did like this tutorial, and you like this breakdown of our NVIDIA and exactly what it is, and just our tokens in general, and understanding the differences and nuance between, you know, the R tokens and the BGB token. And if you guys like this type of content, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one, and peace.